Good morning, church. To Pastor Canada, Pilgrim Church family and friends, I am Jeff Mumford, and I have the distinct pleasure of introducing our guest speaker for this morning, Dr. Tommie Mabry. Dr. Tommie Mabry grew up in one of Jackson's roughest neighborhoods. Trouble followed him everywhere before and after 5th grade when he was arrested for breaking into state fairgrounds. After that arrest, he was suspended or expelled from several schools due to his behavior. A judge once prophesied that in 5 years, his attitude would either get him killed or incarcerated. Tommie grinned at the judge, who did not know the monster lurking within him and was fueled by this prophecy. Things started to change for Tommie when he joined an AAU basketball league that traveled around the world. He was the first person in his family to graduate from high school when he crossed the stage at Bailey Magnet in 2007. Although he was shot in the foot after skipping school during his senior year, Tommie healed and received a full basketball scholarship to Missouri State University at West Plains. He later received a BA cum laude in education from Tougaloo College and the Master's of Art in Child Development in 2017. After his undergraduate studies, Tommie was hired as a teacher by the same Jackson Public School District that had suspended and expelled him many times during his elementary and secondary education. He joined Tougaloo College as the Director of Enrollment in 2016. Tommie received his doctorate degree and executive PhD from Jackson State University in 2020, where he majored in urban higher education. He has written and published 4 books that target all age groups. He travels the world sharing his story to motivate and inspire others, and he lives by the motto, "I cannot walk in my future with my foot in my past." Pilgrim Rest family and friends, our speaker for this morning, Dr. Tommie Mabry.
What's up, dog? Hey, y'all, this is your boy Tommie you know me, Tommie from Martin. But I'm not here to talk to you about me. I'm here to talk to you about my little brother, Tommie Mabry. You have got to read this book, A Dark Journey to a Light Future, and check out the documentary. I'm telling you, this man's life can change your life. I met this young man when he was a senior in high school. He'd been shot. He was a gangster. He was a thug. I watched him turn from man on the street to a great upstanding man of God. I'm telling you, I saw this transformation right before my eyes. And you need to see this. Your family needs to see this. Every young man and young woman need to see this documentary. I'm telling you, Tommie, I just want you to know, brother, I'm proud to say that I am your friend. I'm proud to say I am your big brother. I'm proud to say that I am your mentor. I love you, brother. And remember, you got a job, dog. Ha, 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 ha.
I was kicked out of 10 schools in all. I repeated 8th grade. I got permanent gold teeth in middle school. So I started tattooing my body at a young age. That was cool to my environment. That's the fight. That's the acceptance I was fighting for. That's what got the praise in my neighborhood. I wanted to be like that. I got locked up my 5th grade year for breaking in the state fairground. Judge told me in 5 years I'd be dead or locked up. And you would think that that'll stop me right then, but it didn't. I was fighting for acceptance. You was lame in my neighborhood. If you pulled your pants up, sad to say, you was lame in my neighborhood. If you had your book bag on. In my neighborhood, sometimes you only have 3 options. It's either you're gonna sell drugs, you're gonna play sports, or you're gonna rap. And I played basketball. I was ranked in the country. I was getting recruited by all these colleges. In 2nd period, 10 o'clock, freak accident. Only if I had stayed in school. I walked out to school in the neighborhood with my friends and got shot in my foot. I got shot, nobody came to visit me. I laid on that bed by myself. And everything in my mind was just telling me, like, everybody supports you when you're at your highest. But when you're at your lowest, you'll see who actually in your corner. I'm just laying on that bed and I'm like, if God can give me one more chance at this, I separate myself from the environment, but I learned something. In order to get something you never had, you got to do something you never did and become a person you never been. I look back at that 8th grade Tommie, I just wish I could have told him then, like, man, keep going, be patient, man, keep going. It's gonna turn around soon.
You need a bubble wrap. No.
Yo,
Wait. Don't open it yet.
Man, I'm so nervous.
I just always wanted to know what that felt like to break those barriers, to open that degree, and know that you holding possibilities in your hand.
Give me the bubble wrap. I'm so excited. She's so excited. Oh, bubbles.
My children, I want them to see that their dad never quit.
What happened to you? And Jesus told his homeboy, this is his boy now. Jesus said, get behind me, Satan, you a stumbling block. How could you tell your homeboy, get behind you? See, he said, listen, when I'm on my dreams, that guy that's sitting next to you, if he not pushing you, he pulling you. He said, you got manly thoughts. You don't have godly thoughts. He said his purpose was to come here and die. He knew the mission. But what we need now, we need not just that, but we need the village back. You heard how they say it takes a village to raise a child, correct? But what if the village corrupt? They say it takes a village to raise a child. I remember where that quote came from. I remember when my grandparents would tell me, when I was young, when I get into any trouble, before I make it home, the Sunday school teacher would already give me a whooping. That neighbor down the street that will hold that kid accountable. When I see kids on the news now, I'm thinking to myself, that is somebody's nephew, that is somebody's son, but the way times are so different now. But if we're going to stand on that quote that it takes a village to raise a child, we got to get the village back. Because now we've gotten to a point where we are so scared and inferior because times are so different. If you say something to that child now, that parent will look at you a certain kind of way. But I'm talking about what does it take when they say it takes a village to raise a child. Watch this. When the Israelites was fighting the Amalekites, watch a village. Moses got too old to battle. But long as Moses was standing up with his hand raised, they were winning the battle. But watch what Aaron and Hur, see, we need some Aaron and Hur. Watch what they did. Aaron and Hur put a stone under Moses. They put a stone under Moses so he can now battle because he reached that age. See, our young kids need a stone under them. And long as he had his hand raised, the Israelites was winning. But soon as he put his hands down, so what did Aaron and Hur do? They got adjacent to him and they raised his hand. All our young kids need. Our young kids need that stability. They need that support. If we're going to say it takes a village to raise a child, they need us to help them fight. I was talking to my wife the other day, and we was going over a conversation of this lady saying that she felt like the city failed her. She failed her son. She said, now, you got some great parents out here that's trying everything. They doing everything, and they just need somebody to help put that stone under their kid. She said, I tried. I reached out for help. I asked this. I asked for that. I went to the youth detention center. I went to the mental health clinics. I went everywhere. She said, I just saw my kid going down the wrong path. I just needed help. She tried. She gave everything, and her kid later got murdered. And when we was having this conversation, I was thinking in my mind, like, all she needed was somebody, that village. She needed that village, and that's us. We can't look at that situation right now and starting to judge it and say, that kid is this, that kid is that. No, we need them to help. We need to help them fight. But we got to get to that point. We got to get to that point that we're going to step back up as a community. I got God is good tattooed on my neck. A lady asked me, she said, how you know? I said, well, ma'am, my God took me from a problem to a statement to a solution. He took me from a problem to a statement to a solution. So I want to start this by saying, if anybody in here perfect, excuse me for not being perfect. The Bible says he that's inside of you is greater than he that's in the world. Paul said, I once was a blasphemer, a prosecutor, and a violent man, but God still had mercy on me. It was 6 of us in the house. I was kicked out of 10 schools, 7 elementary schools and 3 middle schools. 7 elementary schools and 3 middle schools. I was arrested my 5th grade year for breaking and entering. Judge was lenient, changed it to trespass. But you know how embarrassing that is for a young guy, 5th grade, to go through that fingerprint process, to put that jumpsuit on, to take a shower with other people, to stay in, to spend overnight in that prison system. It did something to me, but I was hearing everybody tell me, you're going to be just like your dad. You're going to do this and you're going to do that. See, when you prophesy something like that over our kids, and you tell them with tattoos you will never get a good job, when you set limits for certain kids, they grow up to believe it. It took me a long time to get in a building like this and feel comfortable because I already had a defense mechanism that I wasn't good enough. That judge told me in 5 years you'll be dead or locked up if you keep it up. Made it to middle school. What gave me attention, I tattooed my whole body. See, it's something about when a kid is seen. When you see a kid, like when I wanted to be seen, I was fighting for acceptance, so I got permanent gold teeth. I had surgery in college to get my goals taken out, but I was middle school. Kicked out of 3 middle schools, repeated 8th grade. You're not talking about your model kid. I'm that kid that was fighting for acceptance. I thought it was smart to be dumb and dumb to be smart. You could never catch me with a book bag on because when I walk through a certain neighborhood, if I said yes, sir, every time that come out of my mouth, see, I know what you young kids are battling. When you got that book bag on, you walking through a certain neighborhood and you say yes, sir, and no, sir, you look lame to a lot of kids, so now you're trying to do the opposite. So I understand that, and I thought it was smart to be dumb and dumb to be smart. Made it to high school. I had a 1.8 GPA. Follow me, 1.8 young people. Don't let me outwork you. 1.8 GPA, I was shot my senior year in high school, but the only thing I could do was play basketball. I was good at that. I used to hear an educator say, you need a backup plan just in case basketball don't work out. No, I'm going to the NBA. What give you the audacity to dream that big? You're going to represent the 1% of all male athletes in the world, and expectations are measured by behavior. You tell me what you want out of life, I need to be able to look at your schedule, and I say that's what a basketball player look like. When I told you got to be crazy to believe, you can't just tell me you're going to go represent the 1%. You're going to play on the same court as Jordan and LeBron, but I look at your work ethic. When I look at the fact that you give more to your habits than you give your hobby, you're doing everything else. And when I look at your schedule and I say that you wake up at 8 o'clock, you go back and you do this and that, not one time did I see your schedule look like this. You wake up at 4 a.m., you push tires and you go to school. When you get out of school, you go back to doing it. You miss everything from roadblocks, all this Call of Duty. You just out there searching for your dreams. See, when you get that kind of mentality, and then I challenge you a little deeper. How are you supposed to get to the NBA or the NFL if you don't go to college? You know, what's the embarrassing thing to me was this. I had a 1.8 GPA, but yet I can average 20 points a game. How are you going to get to the NBA? They don't draft out of high school no more, so you got to get to the NCAA. I had a 14 on my ACT. So how can you get to the NFL if you're not getting on television with the Ole Misses, the Alabamas, now the Jackson States? So you can't tell me you want these big dreams. It's like this, you got a big dream and a small grind. How you expect to get to that level? When I see young athletes and they tell me, I'm going to the NBA, how are you going to get there if you don't get to college first? But that was my mentality. You know what? I'm going to the NBA. I had a 1.8. I got shot my senior year in high school. And I knew I was shot. I was in the neighborhood just playing. I got shot second period, 10 o'clock, freak accident. Standing in the neighborhood, we just heard boom. And I'm looking around and I'm watching my homeboy just moving a certain way. He had his gun in his pocket, ripped through his pants and shot me in the foot. And I'm start thinking to myself, like, I'm getting recruited right now. It take a lifetime to build, but it take a second to destroy. Do you really thought, young people, did you really think I thought I would be shot that evening? When you walk out those doors, you have no clue. See, I had no clue by 10 o'clock I have a bullet in my foot. But this is how I know that you all are intelligent. When I go to the jail system, I try to tell everybody else, those are your most intelligent young men ever. They just impulsive. And they act off instinct. Every time I go to the prisons, I hear, yes, sir, no, sir. And I'm thinking to myself, all you needed was somebody to lift that arm up for you, put that rock under you. But you are impulsive. Not one time did I rationalize if I walked out that building. See, our young kids lack reasoning skills. Reasoning skills is when you take information and you apply it. Reasoning skills. Not one time as an adult, we think they should know that. When you think about it, when you think of cause and effect, you think of reasoning skills, problem solving. That's a part of the brain that needs to be developed. But if you're thinking about surviving every day, if you're thinking about where your next meal coming at, if you got a surviving mentality, is a part of your brain that's not being fully developed. Research says a young man's brain ain't fully developed till you're 24 or 25. I'm 34. I probably just made it. But this is not to give them an excuse. I'm telling you, what we need is a village. But young people, I ask you to just dream big. I had a 1.8 GPA, young kids, 1.8. 14 on my ACT. When I got shot, I started thinking, what if I wouldn't have never? What if I would have? What if I had done this? And you know what? People ask me so much, how did you change? I got tired. I got tired of getting the same results. If you continue to do the same thing. But in order to get something you never had, you got to do something you never did and become a person you never been. Oh, that was good. Let me say that one more time. In order to get something you never had, you got to do something you never did and become a person you never been. You got to make sacrifices. To get in a better shape, you got to get out of the circle you in. It took me a long time to digest that. But when I got on that path, I got saved when I was 18. I walked into that church with crutches. I had just been shot. The hardest thing I ever done in life was to sacrifice my friendships. When I got shot, nobody came to visit me. But it took something like that to change my perspective. I even told the guy that shot me some years ago, I said, man, I'm so thankful that you shot me. He said, why, man? Because it was a freak accident. I said, if you wouldn't have never shot me, I would not be the man that I am today. It's something about how adversity introduces you to who you really are as a person. You got to go through something. After every storm, the sun come out. Before the sun, you got to know the rain is coming. It's how you deal with adversity. One thing about me, you can be smarter than me, but you can't outwork me. When I was doing my dissertation process, I was telling myself, no, this is not going to defeat me. You're going to let an assignment defeat you? And I used to think, like, I've been through way more than an assignment. But I've been through it before. I've been through the storm. So once you go through the storm and you done fought for something, you look at stuff like that, like, bring it. See, when I lock in on something, it's not an individual who can outwork me because I know how hard I work. I control how hard I work. That's why I said you can have the 4.0. You can have the 5.0, but you can't outwork me. And I know when it gets tough, I'm going. 1.8, made it to college. And I was good at cheating. Listen, I was the best cheater you could ever imagine. Watch this. Cheating got me to a place that, my reputation got me to a place that my character couldn't sustain. They didn't cheat in college. So I went through all of this. I didn't know what an adjective, an adverb, or none of that was in college. I couldn't even write a complete sentence in college. And I'm not ashamed to say that because, I'm doctor now, though. My first day, I tried to cheat off the young lady. She said, "We don't cheat here." This is exactly how she told me. She said, "We don't cheat here." And I'm like, "Why?" But what she was telling me is you have arrived. What you did on that end is not enough to get you to the next level. You can't be who you used to be and who you aspire to be at the same time. You got to make a decision. And at that day, I say, you know what? I know all the rap music come out. I know all the rap music, but when it comes down to this science formula or this math equation, I don't know it. It's not that I'm dumb. My priority's in the wrong spot. It's the law of attraction. What you focus on, you become. He that's inside. Like, I'm already great. So I told myself, let me do this like I do music. So I put a tape recorder, and I recorded the lesson. I'm like, I can't go back to Jackson. I got to get out around. I got to get from my comfort zone. I got to go all the way 6 hours from here. I went to Missouri State to play basketball. I had to get around kids that dream different. When you get around kids that dream different, and I was hearing kids talk about, I'm going to the NBA, I'm going to play for North Carolina. See, I'm from Jackson. I told the late mayor, Chokwe Lumumba, I said, "You taking me on the road with you? I steal and everything." But he was part of that village. He said, "I don't care what you used to do. I'm going to show you what you could do." That man took me on the road with him. The best two things you can ever give a kid is vision and hope. Just give them something to dream about. When I made it to college, I'm thinking about Chokwe, and I'm thinking about all the people that instilled something in me, and I said, I can't go back home. This is my opportunity. I come from a situation, if you mess it up, you might not get it again. See, I'm creating a legacy. History is when it haven't been done before. I'm getting ready to start something for my family. I'm getting ready to break a cycle. I said, I got to learn this. I tape recorded the lesson. When I got back to the dorm, I was studying, but watch how life happens. I went and I took the test. I'm excited about it. This was the first time that I ever studied, and I was like, I'm ready for this. This is what life does. When you get here, it brings you back down that time. I took the test, and I went to basketball practice. Coach moved everybody out the way. He said, "Tommie, I want you to just run till I get tired." I'm like, wait a minute, till you get tired. After I finished running, he showed me an email that never left me. He said, "At this university, we would not tolerate cheating. If that happens again, Tommie would be sent back to Jackson." I almost broke down. I said, "Coach, you thought I cheated?" I said, "Coach, nobody in my family, you thought I was here to play basketball?" I said, "Nobody in my family ever finished high school. You thought I was here to play basketball." I said, "Coach, I got shot my senior year in high school. You thought I was here to play basketball?" I said, "I've been kicked out of 10 schools. You thought I was here to play basketball?" I said, "I got locked up my 5th grade year. You really thought I was here to play basketball?" He said, "For some reason, I don't believe you cheated." He said, "Can you please go back and take a retest?" Man, I was ready yesterday. I'd rather be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. See, this fight that's inside of me, you can't go buy this at Walmart. See, this fight right here got to be in you. If it ain't in here, it don't go out there. I told him I was ready yesterday. You got me, young man? I was ready yesterday, and I went in and I took the test. She stood over me just like this. While she was grading and she was crying, I felt a piece of tear hit the paper. I said, "Man, why are you crying?" She said, "Sir, I know you didn't cheat." She said, "I judged you off of your image, and you play basketball. Normally, the ball players come in and think you're just supposed to hand them something." I said, "Ma'am, the Bible say judge not by the appearance, but for the righteousness of judgment." I said, if you let your eyes make your heart decision, you'll be mentally blind. Because that means you believe everything your eyes show you. And if you believe everything your eyes show you, easily the fool. You know what? I took that perspective and I said, you know what? Everywhere I go, people are going to judge me. I don't care what people got to say about me, man. My image is a visual perspective of me, but my character, that's something you can't see. My character is what I'm committed to. And I stopped working for the validation from others, and I said, as long as you do good work and you got a good heart and you got good character, it'll get you places you would never imagine. And I made it to Tougaloo College in Jackson, Mississippi. I ran for Mr. Tougaloo. Come on, Tommie. First, what give you the audacity to dream that big? You know, you had a 1.8. You know, you're going into prestigious grounds right now. and you running for Mr. Tougaloo, what give you the drive and the heart to do that? I said, I'm going to do it. See, I got that kind of faith. I got that faith. I said, Paul said you got to have the faith to call on those things that are not. I said, I'm going to be Mr. Tougaloo. I'm going to be Mr. Tougaloo, and that's the problem at times. Sometimes it's not that we dream big, we just dream small and we hit it. I said, I'm running for it. They snatched all of my flowers down. They said, this thug is not representing this college. They put me in the newspaper. They showed my tattoos everywhere. They said, an untraditional king is running for the position. Y'all thought y'all was going to break me with that? You tried to bury me not knowing I was a seed. But I understood. I love that campus. I love it for a lot of reasons, but I understood that was campaigning, and they wanted the best representation for the school, and I got that. I understood that. And I told them, I said, you all, I made my image. My image don't make me. I said, I love who I am. To this day, I'm still living on, this is me. I love this guy. I love the skin that I'm in. My professors wrote letters of recommendations for me. They said, not only do this guy have over 3.0, he's the tutor in education. People's like, wait a minute, hold up, wait. Carter, you remember this, right? They said not only do he got over 3.0 now, he's the tutor in education. And they was like, that guy? The guy with the flip-flops on, with the rims on his car, him? The president wrote a letter of recommendation. They said, not only do this guy. I ran against 3 guys. I just made it to Tougaloo as a junior. I ran against Mr. Freshman, Mr. Sophomore. Tommie, you gonna dream that big? You going for those kind of heights? See, I don't dream small. I dream for stuff I told you if I got it, you know it came from something bigger than me. But that's the kind of fight you gotta have. You gotta be able to look at situations like that. I won Mr. Tougaloo. You know what? The best day on earth for me. At graduation, to hear this, Tommie Mabry with a bachelor's degree in education. Our Mr. Tougaloo College with honors, I cried. I was never told about college a day in my life. They told me I'd never do this and that, and I'd never do that. See, when you let people set limits for you, that's not put a ceiling over our kids. I went back to the same school district that kicked me out and became a teacher at that school. I've published 4 books. They say you will never get a good job. Let me explain something to you. I'm a bestseller of 4. I'm the CEO of Tommie Mabry Company. I went back to Tougaloo. I'm the first male student in Tougaloo College history to get a bachelor's and a master's from that same college. Now I'm standing here as Dr. Tommie Mabry. How you tell me you can't go far? How you tell me when I see young kids making excuses, you got all the technology around, you got all the things, but I told you, they just not giving out success. You got to go take it. You got to dream big. I used to ask God, why you put me through all these trials? Why you put me through all these troubled waters? He said, because your enemy can't swim. I asked him, I said, why you put me through all these troubled waters? He said, because your enemy can't swim. Listen, I don't care how good your backstroke is. When you chasing after my people, when you chasing my people through that sea, I'm about to do something for you that no magician can do. See, when I split this thing for you, sometimes you need people following you. You need people talking about you. You need people chasing you because at the right moment, he'll deliver. And I understand that now, and I look at it, I'm like, man, they tried to bury me not knowing I was a seed. But you got to keep dreaming. Young people, keep dreaming. You got to be the type of crazy like Noah. They thought Noah was crazy until it started raining. They thought he was crazy, he kept building. I'm asking you to keep building. They thought he was crazy, but when that storm came, they understood the process. And who are my young people? I am Dr. Tommie Mabry. I wrote a quote that said, I cannot walk in my future with my foot in my past. God bless. That's my time, y'all.